Hi, nursing school people. Well, first things first, congratulate yourself on getting this far in the semester. I know I definitely have been doing that. I just wanted to put this out there to help you out if you need some help for the adult ATI, because as you may have discovered, they like questions about ostomy care, but in the book, even in the ATI book, all it tends to say is educate patient about ostomy care, but it doesn't cover things in detail. As most of you know, I have experience with this, so I figured I'd share a little bit about what I know. I'm not gonna show you everything and do the full bag change. If you ever do want to see things, though, feel free to ask me. I have absolutely no shame in lifting up my shirt and showing you stuff. That sounded horrible. Anyways, ostomies are made when part of the digestive tract is surgically pulled outside the body and a new opening is formed. These can be ostomies, which are rather infrequent because you don't have any intestinal involvement in that, so I'm not really sure how your body's planning on absorbing nutrients that way. The two more common ones are an ileostomy, which is what I have. So at the very end of the ileum, right before the joining with the appendix and the colon, that's the section that's being pulled outside the body and forming a new opening. So none of the digestive material goes through the colon, so products from there are going to be a lot more liquid and not formed. So for these patients specifically, you want to encourage liquid intake. I believe it's supposed to be around 3 liters a day as opposed to the normal 2 for most people, because your colon's not able to reabsorb the water that's going on there. And for the love of all things holy, do not encourage high fiber intake in these people. The opening of the stoma is quite small. I figured I would show you on this. The stomas are different from person to person. My stoma is actually about this size, and the opening is even smaller. I'd say it's maybe 1/4 of an inch in diameter. So you can't have high fiber things that might clog it. So no nuts, no corn, most vegetables. If there's an option that says encourage high fiber foods for that, you know it's wrong. Because a blockage of any kind is never a good thing, and that's exactly what it will cause for an ileostomy. So ileostomy, increase fluids, decrease fiber, and you're expecting that to be liquid consistency. Liquid, maybe semi-solid, but mostly liquid consistency. For colostomies, that's going to be somewhere along the colon. It can be as far as the sigmoid colon, or it can be earlier in the digestive tract. That can be anywhere from a semi-solid to fully formed stool. You don't have the same dietary constrictions because since the large intestine is larger, that stoma opening is going to be larger. So you don't have the same dietary constrictions. You don't have to worry so much about increasing electrolytes and fluids as you do with an ileostomy. I think that's it specifically for colostomy stuff. For both kinds, and this is probably what's going to be covered on the exam, or questioned on the exam, the biggest thing that you want to be concerned about is not getting whatever comes out of the stoma onto the skin. It's fine if it gets onto the stoma because that is intestinal tissue. It's used to getting into contact with the digestive enzymes with the high acidity. That skin on the outside is not used to that. It will be extremely irritating. It will be it can cause skin breakdown. So what you want to do, the big things you want to remember is if you're using a cut to fit flange, you want this to be flush with the stoma. I believe one of the answers was having it a 1/2 inch bigger, and that's a 1/2 inch of area that will be constantly exposed and will break down. So you want this to be flush with it. You want to use an adhesive paste to help provide more of a barrier. And that zinc oxide question, if you put the adhesive on, if you use the adhesive for this, at some point it is going to break down. You will have to change your bag, and if liquid has managed to seep under, you will probably get some skin breakdown. And if that happens, you want to encourage your client to expose it to the air. They make some products, they're very similar to the Pericare paste that I'm sure everyone got familiar with during first semester. But if you use a product like that on skin breakdown and it's anywhere underneath where this flange is going to go, which I don't really know how it wouldn't be, because it's not like skin outside this is going to be coming into contact with the digestive enzymes. But if it's going to be under this, you cannot have any kind of paste or salves or lotions or anything, because then this will not stick, you will get leaks, and then more skin will be apt to be broken down. So the only thing you're really going to be using under this once you put it on is the adhesive. It's an adhesive and it's a skin barrier. So if it says putting anything else, it's a wrong answer. One thing that they might ask about is you want to be sure that the adhesive gets a good chance to dry. You want the skin to be very dry when you change the bag and put this on, and you want the skin to be dry for at least 2 hours after you put this, so that the adhesive can cure, it can stay on there, and it's not going to leak. Where was I going with that? So if you are doing the expose it to the air, which you can do, what I tend to do is you want the skin around the stoma to be dry, but you want the stoma itself to stay moist. So you can take a wet washcloth and keep that on there while you're letting the outside skin dry, so that the stoma doesn't dry and start necrotizing. But long story short, keep it as flush to the stoma as possible, maintain a good seal, keep it dry. You can take a shower with this and everything. You can even go swimming, I think. But when it first, before it goes on and right after it goes on, you want to keep it dry to let everything cure. So if one of the questions is that your patient wants to, go take a shower immediately afterwards, that's just going to end poorly for everyone. For the actual bags, I don't know if they'd be this specific, but they offer these sort of coated bags. The first couple days after an ostomy is performed, you want the clear bag so you can see the consistency of whatever's being expelled. You can check on the stoma without having to take the bag off and everything. So first, at least 3 to 5 days until the first bag change, you want a clear one so you can check everything. If you have a patient and you're assessing, you want color, consistency, any funny smells, amount, whether there's blood in it, just the basics for that. You want to empty these when they are 1/3 to 1/2 full. Otherwise, there will be a lot of downward pressure, if you can imagine it just pulling down. ATI likes to ask that question, I found. You don't want to put anything in the bag. Dear Lord, I don't know why there's so many questions where one of the answers is put an aspirin in the bag to deodorize it. They sell deodorizing sprays, which you do not spray in the bag, you spray around it. It's sort of like the Axe body stuff, body spray. Or the bags will have a carbon filter so that you can't smell anything. You don't put anything in the bag that doesn't come from your body. Long story short. And the only other thing that I can think of is that you want to make sure that your patient is familiar with all of this before they leave the hospital. And I think that's it. Good luck on ATI, guys, and hopefully there's at least one question so I can feel like I helped everyone out and we can show off on ATI that 100% of the class got the question right. Bye, guys. Good luck.